Very cool. Should I give you a question?
Absolutely.
This question comes from Brainy Maroney, and he says, if I took a trip to the moon, how would I poop? Would it travel through space and back into Earth's hemisphere to create a... Oh, that's a bad word. To create a something storm? Or would it float through the galaxies forever? Or would it stay in my spacesuit and make it hard to breathe? Thank you, Brady, for this insightful question. Would it make it hard to breathe?
Would it make it hard to breathe? Well, now, let's just talk logistics, my friend that has asked this question. Let's talk logistics. Mm-hmm. Now, they put toilets on the space shuttles. They do. It's not like when you go to astronaut training camp, they train you how to, for 3 months, never go to the bathroom until you come back to Earth.
Zane, I think it's weird that NASA has never thought about what happens if you poop in space. And nobody's willing to ask these sort of questions, but I think it's pretty weird.
NASA thinks it's nasty.
They just didn't think of it. It just slipped the mind for like however many people were a part of that. And thank you, Brady, for asking this question.
To be fair,
these are the questions that need to be asked. Yes,
you're right in the sense of they didn't add like a back flap to the spacesuit. Like they didn't think that far ahead. That's
didn't
right.
they?
So like
I can't imagine what would happen to the butt flesh if you flipped your flap and tried to drop the kids off for school.
That's a terrible expression. I hate that you've said it before, and I hate that I know what it means now.
And that you were floating around in space while doing it. I can't imagine what happens to the butt meat during that operation that you're trying to propose. But the way that I always understood it, and there's some reminiscent thought of the Magic School Bus teaching me that you just kind of plant and you kind of seatbelt yourself into the wall of the spaceship. And then something opens up on the other side, and then your butt's just kind of hanging out in space.
Yeah.
Like you're mooning the entire Earth.
Yeah.
And then you go.
Now, I like the idea of mooning the entire Earth. There's an immediate perk to going to the bathroom in space. One,
mooning the entire Earth.
You moon 7.6 billion people all at once.
New record.
There's one person looking through the Hubble telescope and they say, "Oh, that's a human butt, isn't it?"
That's a butt.
That's a butt in space.
We're getting mooned.
Did you find Jupiter? No, I found my friend's ass. It's just right there in space. Nice one, Derek. Oh, he can't hear me. He's in space. Okay. I'll tell him when he gets back to Earth. That was a good one.
I wish we found a way to communicate with the people in space. Maybe I'll tell him when he comes back. Okay, here's the second question. If you do your space business and it goes out into the nether, does it start rotating the Earth? Does it create the meteors that start going 20,000 miles an hour that hit your ship and blow a hole through it?
So are you saying does it get pulled into like the gravitational rotation and start orbiting Earth?
Yes. Does it start orbiting, or does it come down as a meteor? And then that's, I don't know which is worse.
I won't talk logistics or mathematics with you. I'll talk the truth. The true. Depends how much force you thrust it out with. Can you?
Okay.
How close are we to the hemisphere? Probably not that close, because you don't want the entire
hemisphere. You're in space, dude.
So the thing is, you don't want the ship being pulled back into Earth. Because that'd be bad. That would have the entire spaceship.
If you fire too hard,
right, then
you'll force the spaceship back down into being pulled down to Earth.
Here's the opposite question. Also, you go to the bathroom with enough force, you push space shuttle. Space shuttle move.
If everybody all assigned themselves to a flap going the opposite direction that the International Space Station is floating around the Earth currently, and they did their business hard enough, could they stop the International Space Station just for a second? Just the opposite force going the opposite way. Would they stop it?
Now this is important.
This is very important.
Because we're talking life or death here for couple of lives that are on that shuttle. You gonna push them out of orbit? You're gonna push them somewhere they're not supposed to be? This is very important. When you say you go to the bathroom, how's that gonna happen when you're in space? Well, obviously, if you go in your spacesuit, you're gonna regret it for the rest of your life. Don't do it, please. I pray to God, don't do it. No. But if you don't go into spacesuit, you do this thing that we're talking about apparently, where you moon the Earth. You're gonna take some heavy risks, because we don't know how much force you're gonna put on that space shuttle.
I agree with that. You don't know how much force you're going to put on that space shuttle. But also, I'd like to think that actually doing it in your suit might actually be preferable to doing it in your pants on Earth. Because, one, gravity is not pulling it down. It's not going to be running down your leg. That's one.
Okay.
Two, I would like to believe that you're not just naked inside this big suit that's just one empty hole, right?
You are, right? Aren't you? Are you not allowed to wear clothes when you wear a spacesuit?
Let's just pretend that that's not the case, and that you are not naked in one big hole, and that there are spaces in between your head and your hands and your waist and things like that. So all you got is just some nuggets floating around in the bottom half. You probably can't even smell it. It won't be a problem. That's all I'm saying. I'm
going to throw something at you that's going to bother me. Now, obviously, neither of us really love the fact that we're spending so much time on a poop question. But now, you like you said, you do your business in your pants on Earth. It's not going to feel great. But I think it'd be more uncomfortable if you did your business in your spacesuit in space, and you're like, oh, where'd it go? And then every 5 minutes it bounces off of you again. You're like, oh man, it's still around. It's still in there.
Oh, it's still going. Yeah.
It keeps knocking on the front door.
We must be done. We must be done with this.
Go to the bathroom before you go to space. That's all I have to say. That's it.
Yeah, you'll come back quick enough. You'll be fine.